Hello, good evening, salutations, and with the such knots. This is the stream for the evening. We're going to start out with some jokes with George here in the corner. He's got his hat on tonight, so he's all ready. Ready, George?
I'm all ready.
Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
I don't know.
Well, she kept running away from the ball.
Oh, that's cheesy.
Yeah, well, what the jokes are tonight. Horrible. You like animal jokes better?
Well, I am an animal.
Well, I guess you are, aren't you? What kind of animal are you?
Not a bear.
We got that down the first time. Definitely not a bear. All right. Did you hear what the horse said after it fell? It was trying to get up. Well, after it tripped.
You almost gave it away, didn't you?
Yeah, shh. Don't tell them that. What did this horse say after it tripped?
Help. I've fallen and I can't giddy up.
Yep, exactly. Can't giddy up. Too bad we didn't live in dinosaur times, huh, George?
Why? Dinosaurs are huge and scary as hell.
Probably. But, we never have to worry about listening to the pterodactyl go to the bathroom.
Why?
Well, because their P is silent.
What?
P-T-E-R. Pterodactyl.
Ha ha. Ha
We just ain't getting these ones tonight, are we? They're just not hitting home. Some horses are crazy. You know what they call the well-balanced ones?
Stable.
Exactly. That's where they live, right? Stables?
Yeah.
How many more jokes you got in you?
Oh, about 3.
Okay. What do you call an angry carrot?
I don't know what.
A steamed veggie. Where do polar bears keep their money?
In the snowbank.
How do you make an egg roll?
I don't know. I never made an egg roll before.
You never pushed an egg? Okay, wasn't that good? Compose yourself, man. All right, I think we're good, right? Open with some jokes. Got those out of the way. His limit's 6. Can't give him any more. He starts going laughter crazy. So last night we tried to read the Hermetica, which are the prophecies and speeches of Hermes, which lead into the Kabbalah. And it's wonder that I have that book now, and it's that they go into each other, adding more into these books that I already have. So we're gonna try to do that again today. Maybe we'll put the cats on the cam. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, we got time and the negative time. The dark and the light side. Be a great Jedi. Come to the Force. It's all around us. That's what we talked about too in the Kabbalah last night. The Force. So in this chapter, Hermes describes the nature of pure philosophy, but laments that in future generations it will become all but lost. I'm speaking in our generation right now. You're leaning against the necklaces back there, George, making weird noises. The philosophy that Hermes teaches is not just a clever intellectual exercise. It's about focusing the mind in deep meditation on a tomb. an ancient Egyptian name for God. Such pure philosophy is about rising above mere opinions to experience directly the mind of the universe. Using the God-given gift of our own little minds, we can come to know the big mind that creates and maintains the cosmos in beautiful order. For Hermes, spiritual philosophy is not opposed to science, as it is often for us today. The student of spiritual philosophy studies science as a form of devotion to God. Through understanding the secrets of the natural world, he is overcome with a sense of awe and reverence for the Creator. He appreciates the perfect order of the universe as if he were listening to a grand symphony in which every melody has been exquisitely combined to compose one magnificent harmony. Hermes prophesies, however, that this spiritual philosophy will one day become lost and confused. Speaking from our distant past, he uncannily describes the predicament we find ourselves in today. Pure philosophy has been replaced by the teachings of clever intellectuals with no mystical understanding of life. People have ceased to see the universe as a source of wonder and no longer revere it as the work of God. Spirituality has come to be dismissed by science as primitive superstition. The profound wisdom of ancient Egyptians is thought of as a dead religion and as little more than an archaeological curiosity. Hermes foretells that Egypt, once the home of spirituality, will become a desolate place deserted by the gods. Out of compassion for future generations, Hermes writes his wisdom in books and orders them to be hidden, like a time capsule of truth. Hermes' vision waits for its chance to awaken future generations who are lost and bewildered by life. People such as ourselves. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. I have to speak to a child. All right, we're back. Prophecies of Hermes. Pure philosophy is spiritual striving through constant contemplation to attain true knowledge of Atum, the one God. But speaking now in prophecy, I say that in times to come, no one will pursue philosophy with single-mindedness and pure of heart. Those with grudging and ungenerous temptation will try and prevent men discovering the priceless gift of immortality. Philosophy will become confused, making it hard to comprehend. It will be corrupted by spurious speculation. It will be entangled with bewildering sciences like arithmetic, music, and geometry. The student of pure philosophy studies the sciences, not as fanciful theories, but as devotion to Atum. Because they reveal a universe perfectly ordered by the power of number. Because measuring the depths of the sea and forces of fire and magnitudes of physical things leads to a reverent awe at the Creator's skill and wisdom. Because the mysteries of music bear witness to the unsurpassed talent of the supreme artist who has beautifully harmonized all things into a single whole, sufficed with sweet melodies. To simply love Atum in thought with singleness of heart, and to follow the goodness of his will, this is philosophy, unsullied by intrusive cravings for pointless opinions. But I foresee that in times to come, clever intellectuals will mislead the minds of men, turning them away from pure philosophy. It will be taught that our sacred devotion was ineffectual, and the heartfelt piety and assiduous service with which we Egyptians honor Atum was a waste without reward. Egypt is an image of the heavens, and the whole cosmos dwells here. In this its sanctuary, but the gods will desert the earth and return to heaven, abandoning this land that was once the home of spirituality. Egypt will be forsaken and desolate, bereft of the presence of the gods. It will be over... The cats are crazy. It will be overrun by foreigners who will neglect our sacred ways. This holy land of temples and shrines will be filled with corpses and funerals. The sacred Nile will be swollen with blood, and her waters will rise, utterly fouled with gore. Does this make you weep? There is worse to follow. This land that was a spiritual teacher to all humankind, which loved the gods with such devotion that they deigned to sojourn here on earth, this land will exceed all others in cruelty. The dead will far outnumber the living, and the survivors will be known as Egyptians by their language alone, for in their actions they will be like men of another race. O Egypt, nothing will remain of your religion but an empty tale, which even your own children will not believe. Nothing will be left to tell of your wisdom but old graven stones. When men will be weary of life and will cease seeing the universe as worthy of reverent wonder. Spirituality, the greatest of all blessings, will be threatened with extinction and believed a burden to be scorned. The world will no longer be loved as an incomparable work of Atum, a glorious monument. Hello. It's good to see you again, too. The world will no longer be loved in an incomparable work of Atum, a glorious monument to his primal goodness, an instrument of the divine will to evoke veneration and praise in the beholder. Egypt will be widowed. Every sacred voice will be silenced. Darkness will be preferred to light. No eyes will rise to heaven. The pure will be thought insane, and the impure will be honored as wise. I know. Thank you very much. The madman will be believed brave, and the wicked esteemed as good. Knowledge of the immortal soul will be laughed at and denied. No reverent words worthy of heaven will be heard or believed. So I, thrice great Hermes, the first of men to attain all knowledge, have inscribed the secrets of the gods, in sacred symbols and holy hieroglyphs, on these stone tablets which I have concealed for a future world that may seek our sacred wisdom. Through all-seeing mind, I myself have been the witness of the invisible things of heaven, and through contemplation come to knowledge of the truth. This knowing I have set down in these writings. In these writings of Hermes, this lost wisdom of the Pharisees. They're the Hermetic philosophies that we're going to read next. Few moments we're going to just take to reflect on that. I'm going to partake of some meds. I got this beautiful new piece today. Snake is doing great. He just ate the other day. We had that video posted. And we need to get him a bigger tank though. He's getting too big for that one. He needs more space to stretch out. And bigger hides. His hides are pretty small. He did eat. It took him an hour and a half to eat, but he did. If you watch the video, you see that he ate. Which is good. Suckers are huge. Well, actually, snakes never sleep. Their eyes never close. They're always open. They're like in a hibernative state. They never close their eyes. So he's usually chills. He'll go out and about. This evening he crawls around. Oh yeah. We're gonna look into getting him a bigger tank and some more hides and stuff. Hopefully before winter. Thank you. Yeah, when we do that, I'll make sure to post that we're cleaning the tank. I saw a double rainbow today. It was beautiful. Just like a sign from the God. Actually, right after I went to go get meds, got this beautiful piece, and walked out, and there was a rainbow. Alright. Can't say hi to him right now because I'm putting my kid to sleep. But, yes. You will get to say hi to Cappy eventually. When I clean his tank again. I'll be right back. Gotta get my kid to sleep. My brain says, I need snacks. And my stomach says, the fuck you do? No. No snacks, apparently. So, hello. Yes, we're back. Child is down for the sleepy part, but I'm just going to give it a few minutes. Doing some... getting medication prepped for tomorrow. The week. It's like filling the pill jar. I need like a little stand that holds my book so that I can just read it while I'm using my hands. Right?
Just make me feel bad.
What?
Just make me feel bad.
What are you talking about?
That's why I had it here, remember?
No, I mean like
Yeah, I have
like a music stand.
I have that too.
Let's see. Can I put it up here? Will it work? Let me try this.
I also have a thing that holds the book open too.
All right. Mekabalin, Chapter 7. The All in All. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. My son owns the snake. To him who truly understands this, truth hath come great knowledge. The Kabbalin. But I own my son, so technically I own the snake too. Yeah, God owns my son. Yeah, it's my son's snake. True that. How often the majority of people heard repeated the statement that their deity, called by many names, was all in all. And how little have they suspected the inner occult truth concealed by these Just one moment. Yes, child.
Cold air?
Dad, will you?
Getting any cold air.
You want the window open?
Child wanted the cat and needed AC adjusted. Good night, child. I love you. Rewind. Take 2. How often have the majority of people heard repeated the statement that their deity, called by many names, was all in all? And how little have they suspected the inner occult truth concealed by these carelessly uttered words? The commonly used expression is a survival of the ancient Hermetic maxiom quoted above. As the Kabbalin says, to him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. And this being so, let us seek this truth, the understanding of which means so much. In this statement of truth, this Hermetic maxiom is concealed one of the greatest philosophical, scientific, and religious truths. We have given you the Hermetic teaching regarding the mental nature of the universe, the truth that the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. As the Kabbalan says in the passage quoted above, all is in the all. But note also the correlated statement that it is equally true that the all is in all. This apparently contradictory statement is reconcilable under the law of paradox. It is, moreover, an exact hermetic statement of the relation existing. What cat was that? Just completely threw me off there. Of course, it would be Max. Oh my goodness. All right. Take two. Again. All right. All is in the all. But note also the correlated statement that it is equally true that the all is in all. This apparently contradictory statement is reconcilable under the law of the paradox. It is, moreover, an exact hermetic statement of the relations existing between the all and its mental universe. We have seen how all is in the all. Now let us examine the other aspect of the subject. God, or whatever you choose to call your deity, is in all things. It created all things. From it, all things were created. So that statement is true. All is in, all things that were created are in the mind of the all, according to the truth of the mental nature of the universe, stating that the universe is mental, that it is in the mind of the all. We are all figments of the imagination of the all, of God, whatever you choose to call it. And the other aspect is that it is in all of us. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is immanent, in, remaining within, inherent, abiding within its universe, and in every part, particle, unit, or combination within the universe. This statement is usually illustrated by the teachers by a reference to the principle of correspondence. The teacher instructs the student to form a mental image of something, a person, an idea, something having a mental form, the favorite example being that of an author or a dramaticist, forming an idea of his characters, or a painter or sculptor forming an image of an ideal that he wishes to express by his art. In each case, the student will find that while the image has its existence and being solely within its own mind, yet he, the student, author, dramaticist, painter, or sculptor, is, in a sense, immanent in, remaining within, or abiding within the mental image also. In other words, the entire virtue, life, spirit, or reality in the mental image is derived from the immanent mind of the thinker. Consider this for a moment until the idea is grasped. To take a modern example, let us say that Othello, Iago, Hamlet, Lear, Richard III existed merely in the mind of Shakespeare at the time of their conception or creation. And yet Shakespeare also existed within each of these characters, giving them their vitality, spirit, and action. As an author, I can correlate and say that yes, whenever I create a character, that character has essences of me in it. But in itself, it also has a life of its own. Whose is the spirit of the characters that we know as Macabre, Oliver Twist, Uriah Heep? Is it Dickens? Or having each of these characters a personal spirit independent of their creator? Have the Venus of Medici, the Sistine Madonna, the Apollo Belvedere spirits and realities of their own, or do they represent the spiritual and mental power of their creators? The law of paradox explains that both propositions are true, viewed from the proper viewpoints. Macabre is both Macabre and yet Dickens. And again, while Macabre may be said to be Dickens, yet Dickens is not identical with Macabre. Man, like Macabre, may exclaim, "The spirit of my creator is inherent within me, and yet I am not he." How different this from the shocking half-truth so vociferously announced by certain of the half-wise who fill the air with their raucous cries of, "I am God." Imagine poor Macabre or the sneaky Uriah Heep crying, "I am Dickens," or some of the lowly clads in one of Shakespeare's play grandiosely announcing that "I am Shakespeare." The all is in the earthworm, and yet the earthworm is far from being the all. And still the wonder remains that though the earthworm exists merely as a lowly thing, created and having its being solely within the mind of the all, yet the all is immanent in the earthworm, and in the particles that go to make up the earthworm. Can there be any greater mystery than this of all is in the all and the all in all? The student will, of course, realize that the illustrations given above are necessarily imperfect and inadequate, for they represent the creation of mental images in finite minds, while the universe in a creation of infinite mind, and the difference between the two poles separates them. And yet it is merely a matter of degree, and the same principle is in operation. The principle of correspondence manifests in each, as above, so below, as below, so above. And in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit immanent within his being, so will he rise in the spiritual scale of life. This is what spiritual development means: the recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. Try to remember this last definition, that of spiritual development. It contains the truth of true religion. There are many planes of being, many subplanes of life, many degrees of existence in the universe, and all depend upon the advancement of beings in the scale of which scale the lowest point is the grossest matter, and the highest being separated only by the thinnest division from the spirit of the all. And upward and onward along this scale of life, everything is moving. All are on the path whose end is the all. All progress is in the returning home. All is upward and onward in spite of all seemingly contradictory appearances. Such is the message of the illumined. The Hermetic teachings concerning the process of the mental creation of the universe are that at the beginning of the creative cycle, the all, in its aspect of being, projects its will towards its aspect of becoming, and the process of creation begins. It is thought that the process consists of the lowering of vibration until a very low degree of vibratory energy is reached, at which point the grossest possible form of matter is manifested. This process is called the stage of involution, in which the all becomes involved or wrapped up in its creation. This process is believed by Hermetics to have a correspondence to the mental process of an artist, writer, or inventor who becomes so wrapped up in his mental creation as to almost forget his own existence, and who, for the time being, almost lives in his creation. If instead of wrapped, we use the word rapt, R-A-P-T, perhaps we will get a better idea of what is meant. The involuntary stage of creation is sometimes called the outpouring of the divine energy, just as the evolutionary state is called the indrawing. The extreme pole of the creative process is considered to be the furthest removed from the all, while the beginning of the evolutionary stage is regarded as the beginning of the return swing of the pendulum of rhythm, a coming home idea of being held in all the Hermetic teachings. The teachings are that during the outpouring, the vibrations become lower and lower until finally the urge ceases and the return swing begins. But there is this difference that while in the outpouring, the creative forces manifest compactly and as a whole, yet from the beginning of the evolutionary or indrawing stage, there is manifested the law of individualization. That is, the tendency to separate into units of force, so that finally that which left the all is unindividualized energy returns to its source as countless highly developed units of life, having risen higher and higher in the scale by means of physical, mental, and spiritual evolution. The ancient Hermeticists use the word meditation as in describing the process of the mental creation of the universe in the mind of the all. the word contemplation also being frequently employed. But the idea intended seems to be that the employment of the divine attention. Attention is a word derived from the Latin root meaning to reach out, to stretch out, and to act. The act of attention is really a mental reaching out or extension of mental energy, so that the underlying idea is readily understood that we examine into the real meaning of attention. Hear my child out there talking to the cats. The Hermetic teachings regarding the process of Rewind, take two. The Hermetic teachings regarding the process of evolution are that the All, having meditated upon the beginning of the creation, having thus established the material foundation of the universe, having thought it into existence, then gradually awakens or rouses from its meditation, and in so doing starts into manifestation the process of evolution on the material, mental, and spiritual planes, successfully and in order. Thus, the upward movement begins, and all begins to move spiritward. Matter becomes less gross, the units spring into being, the combinations begin to form, life appears and manifests into higher and higher forms, and mind becomes more and more in evidence, the vibrations constantly becoming higher. In short, the entire process of evolution, in all of its phases, begins and proceeds according to the established laws of the indrawing process. All of this occupies eons upon eons of man's time, each eon containing countless millions of years, and yet the illumined inform us that the entire creation, including involution and evolution of an universe, is but as the twinkle of the eye to the All. At the end of the countless cycles of eons of time, the All withdraws its attention, its contemplation and meditation of the universe, for the great work is finished, and all is withdrawn into the All from which it emerged. But mystery of mysteries, the spirit of each soul is not annihilated, but is infinitely expanded. The created and the creator are merged. Such is the report of the illumined. Can you imagine? That is heaven, being one with that which created us once again. The above illustration of the meditation and subsequent awakening from meditation of the All is, of course, but an attempt of the teachers to describe the infinite process by a finite example. And yet, as below, so above, the difference is merely in degree, and just as the All arouses itself from the meditation upon the universe, so does man, in time, cease from manifesting upon the material plane, and withdraws himself more and more into the indwelling spirit, which is indeed the divine ego. There is one more matter of which we desire to speak in this lesson, and that comes very near to an invasion of the metaphysical field of speculation. Although our purpose is merely to show futility of such speculation, we allude to the question which inevitably comes to the mind of all thinkers who have ventured to seek the truth. The question is, why does the All create the universe? The question may be asked in different forms, but the above is the gist of the inquiry. Man has striven hard to answer this question, but still there's no answer worthy of the name. Some have imagined that the All had something to gain by it, but this is absurd, for what could the All gain that it did not already possess? Others have sought the answer in the idea that the All wished something to love, and others that it created for pleasure or amusement, or because it was lonely, or to manifest its power, all puerile explanations and ideas belonging to the childish period of thought. Others have sought to explain the mystery by assuming that the All found itself compelled to create by reason of its own internal nature, its creative instinct, This idea is in advance of the others, but its weak point lies in the idea that the all being compelled by anything, internal or external. If its internal nature or creative instinct compelled it to do anything, then the internal nature or creative instinct would be the absolute instead of the all, and so accordingly that part of the proposition falls. And yet the all does create and manifest and seems to find some kind of satisfaction in so doing. And it is difficult to escape the conclusion that in some infinite degree it must have what would correspond to an inner nature or creative instinct in man with correspondingly infinite desire and will. It could not act unless it willed to act, and it would not will to act unless it desired to act, and it would not desire to act unless it obtained some satisfaction thereby. And all of these things would belong to an inner nature, and might be postulated as existing according to the law of correspondence. But still, we prefer to think of the all as acting entirely free from any influence, internal or as well as external. That is a problem which lies at the root of difficulty, and the difficulty that lies at the root of the problem. Strictly speaking, there cannot be said to be any reason whatsoever for the all to act, for a reason implies a cause, and the all is above cause and effect, except when it wills to become a cause, at which time the principle is set into motion. So you see, the matter is unthinkable, just as the all is unknowable. Just as we say the all merely is, so we are compelled to say that the all acts because it acts. At the last, the all is all reason in itself, all law in itself, all action in itself. And it may be said, truthfully, that the all in its own reason, its own law, its own act, or still further, that the all, its reason, its act, is law, are one, all being names for the same thing. In the opinion of those who are giving you these present lessons, the answer is locked up in the inner self of the all, along with its secret of being. The law of correspondence, in our opinion, reaches only to that aspect of the all, which may be spoken of as the aspect of becoming. Back of that aspect is the aspect of being, in which all laws are lost in law. All principles merge into principle and the all. Principle and being are identical, one and the same. Therefore, metaphysical speculation on this point is futile. We go into the matter here merely to show that we recognize the question and also the absurdity of the ordinary answers of metaphysics and theology. In conclusion, it may be of interest to our students to learn that while some of the ancient and modern Hermetic teachings are rather inclined in the direction of applying the principle of correspondence to the question, with the result of the inner nature conclusion, still the legends have it that Hermes the Great, when asked this question by his advanced students, answered them by pressing his lips tightly together and saying not a word, indicating that there was no answer. But then he may have intended to apply the axiom of his philosophy that the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding, believing that even his advanced students did not possess the understanding which entitled them to the teaching. At any rate, if Hermes possessed the secret, he failed to impart it, and so far as the world is concerned, the lips of Hermes are closed regarding it. And here the great Hermes hesitated to speak. What mortal may dare to teach? But remember that whatever be the answer to this problem, if indeed there be an answer, the truth remains that while all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. The teaching on the point is emphatic, and we may add the concluding words of the quotation, "To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge." And that's why I didn't restart that reading yesterday, because that took 45 minutes so far. That was the Kabbalah, the Hermetic Principles. hope you guys are enjoying. It's a lot of reading, but that's what teachers do, right? Well, this one's not too bad. The cats are going wild, I'm telling you. Crazy wild.
Hello, my dear.
Lovely lady, how are you?
Hi, Wolf. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Say hi, Max. Say hi to the people.
Run free! Wolf boy!
Wolf boy. Give me a fatso.
Ah! Scratch my chair and the cats come running. Alright, let's get this reading done. Shall we? It's actually a lot of reading. I need to wet my whistle. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that follow button. Or I am supposed to say that during these videos or something. I don't know. That's what my kid tells me.
Mom, don't forget to tell him to like and subscribe.
Okay. Good night, Red Dragon. Stay tuned. We'll be here tomorrow morning. Oh, I should pull the card for the evening too. We'll do that before we read about Arjuna and Krishna. Yesterday's card was blessed. See what tonight's card is. Imagine. It's got a moon, bright stars. Imagine. I like this. I wanted to put it on there just because that looks cool up there. Imagine. Card number 20. Alright. Imagine. Essential meaning. Turning imagination into manifestation, creative thought, visualization, the power of aligning imaginary and feelings, creativity, and illusions. Didn't we just discuss how we are all in the mind of the all? We are just figments of the mind and the imagination of the all. Now we get a card about imagine. Wow, it's beautiful how things connect, ain't it? The Oracle's message: who do you want to be? What do you need to believe in order to have the life you want? You were gifted with the power to imagine. If you can dream it, you can create it. This is the time when your imagination is the key to manifesting the life you desire. Spend time daydreaming, fashioning a vision board to help you see your goals, or meditating. Allow the power of your creativity to deliver images of what feeds your soul. Then allow your feelings to mingle with your inspirations and imagine these things being real right now. Then repeat. What you imagine will become your belief, and soon you will see these things come to pass in the outer world as if by magic. Relationship message. In matters of the heart, it's easy to daydream about another as a means of connecting to that person. Well, that's romantic. If you want this relationship to be real, you need to go for it, not just dream about it. Now is the time to move beyond the daydream and into reality, beyond illusion and into fruition. Relationships are about relating, so step out onto the dance floor where imagination partners with manifestation. The message of this card is that a person with attributes you have imagined will enter your life. You'll be changed for the better. Imagine that. Prosperity message.
This is a powerful time to get clear on how you create your prosperity, what it means to you to be prosperous, and what attributes you need to develop in yourself to make things happen. Who do you need to be to live out your dreams? Can you imagine the kind of life you desire? Really imagine it, without holding back the sheer force of your powers of creativity. If you can envision it, you can have it. Get ready, for prosperity is waiting for you to claim it now. Act as if your dreams really will come true.
And the protection message. Illusions and wishful thinking rooted in sense of lack have entered your life. Now may be the time to see things as they truly are, and not as you hoped or imagined they would be. Release any fear. Then envision anew. Perhaps you are anticipating that something fearful might happen and recreating that image of disaster over and over in your mind. The universe responds to such projections, so be aware of this catastrophizing. No matter what, illusions and awfulizing are a misuse of imagination. Clear the inner slate and stand grounded. Stay grounded. Stay real. Only then can you truly have what you desire. And now, the Bhagavad Gita. Renunciation, Part 5. Then again spoke Arjuna, the Pandu prince, unto Krishna, the blessed Lord, saying, O Krishna, thou speakest in paradoxes, for first dost thou praise renunciation of actions, and then praisest thou the performances of service through actions. Pray, which of these two hath the greater merit? And I beg of thee that thou telleth me plainly, and without danger of further doubt and confusion on my part. Krishna. Stated I say unto thee, O Prince, that both renunciation of action and service through action have great merit. Both lead to the highest goal. But verily I say unto thee that of the two, performance of service is preferable to the renunciation of action. Right action is better than inaction. But in the use of these terms thou must be watchful lest thou fall into confusion. For truly is he the greatest renouncer who neither seeks action nor yet avoids it, who neither runs after action nor yet runs away from it. He thus renounceth all, both likes and dislikes. Free from the pairs of opposite is he, and calm and content, ready to perform all tasks and actions that may be set before him, and yet likewise ready to refrain from all action, not being attached thereto. Yea, verily is such a one freed from bondage. The grown-up children who are entering into the study of the truth are most prone to speaking of renunciation of action, and the performance of right action as different. Sages know them both as one. Both lead to the same goal, and the followers of the one attain that which is attained by the followers of the other. He who seeth beneath the surface of things receiveth that in their essence both are one. But it is a most difficult task to attain to renunciation of action without the performance of service through action, O Arjuna, and the man who harmonizes the two ways is blessed indeed, for he is well started upon the road to peace. He who is engaged in the performance of right action, and who at the same time keepeth himself free from the desire of the fruit of action, he thus renounceth action, although performing it. He is thus able to subdue his senses and desires, and by such mastery is enabled to see beyond the personal life and to become conscious of the real self, which is one of the real self of all beings. He knoweth the universal life, and that from which the universal life proceeds. And so knowing and acting, he is not bound by the bonds of action, but is free therefrom. Being so, he is at harmony between the two ideas, and although he seeth, heareth, feeleth, smelleth, eateth, moveth, sleepeth, breatheth, yet knoweth he that the real self underlieth all action, and therefore may say, of my personal self do I nothing. Truly he may also say, the senses perform their parts in the sense world, let them play. I am not bound by nor deceived by them, for I know them for what they are. He who thus acteth, seeing back of all action of the real self, which is actionless, is free from the stain of the world. He remaineth like the lotus leaf, which is harmed not by the waters around it. The wise, having abandoned attachment, perform the actions of body, mind, and intellect, and even of the senses, understandingly, and ever have right action and purification in view. Harmonized and abandoning the desire and hope of reward for actions, they gain peace. But those who lack this harmony, and who are held fast in the bonds of desire of reward for actions, are troubled and filled with unrest and dissatisfaction. The wise man, setting himself free mentally from actions and their results, dwelleth in the temple of the spirit. Even that which man call the body, resting calmly therein, at peace, and neither desiring to act nor causing to act, and yet always willing to play well his part in action when duty calleth him. For he knoweth that although his body, senses, and mind may engage in action, yet the real self remaineth forever undisturbed. For the real self acteth not in these ways, which such belong to the lower nature of man through the qualities of such nature. The real self performeth neither good nor evil actions. It remaineth above these distinctions and their manifestations. The light of wisdom is oft obscured by the smoke of ignorance, and man is deluded thereby, and seeth the smoke for the flame, knowing not what lieth beyond the smoke. But they who are able to pierce behind the pale of smoke perceive the bright flame of the Spirit, shining like unto an infinity of suns, free and undimmed by the smoke which hath shielded it from the eyes of a majority of men. Meditating upon the real self, blended into the real self, seated firmly in the knowledge of the real self, loving with fierce devotion the real self, the wise are freed from their bonds. Their eyes are cleared from the smoke which filleth the eyes of men, blinding them, and they pass into those higher states from which none return to these lower planes of existence. Blessed beyond measure are such. He whose eyes have been freed from the smoke of error and illusion looks with equal feeling and respect upon the revered, learned, and enlightened leader of men and the veriest outcasts among men. For know you, Arjuna, that the eyes so freed from illusion see the personalities of forms of life as so unreal when compared to the real self that even very great worldly distinctions disappear when viewed from such a height. Those whose minds are able to dwell in this realization gain a life above illusion even in this life, for in this realization is the realization of the real self. Verily, those who see the real self ever underlying all that seems to be, the only reality in the world of apparent reality, who see this and are able to dwell in that knowledge, even as the wood floateth upon the bosom of the waters, they refrain from overjoy on obtaining that which is pleasant, and from over sorrow on receiving that which is unpleasant. They have freed themselves from attachment to these pairs of opposites, these fruits of action and external objects, and therefore they find inexpressible joy in the knowledge and consciousness of the real self. And having entered into this real consciousness, they pass into the realm of eternal bliss and peace. For know thou, Arjuna, that the joys and pleasures of the senses, those so-called satisfactions that arise from external objects, are verily the wounds of future pain. They belong to the world of beginnings and endings, and the wise man taketh no delight in such. He who even in this world of senses and sense object is so filled with the strength which proceedeth from true knowledge, that he is able to bear with equanimity the urges and longings of the desired nature, and who, thus bearing them, is able to hold them in their places with master hand, he hath gained harmony and is indeed thrice blessed. He who hath found the peace within, and who hath been so illumined that he findeth his joy and happiness within himself, and knoweth that within him is the kingdom of heaven, verily he gaineth the peace of the real self, because he hath blended himself with the real self. They, from whom the illusion of duality and separation hath been removed, see all life as one, and emanating from one. The welfare of the all becomes the welfare of the one to them, and to such cometh the peace of one. This peace, which passeth all understanding, cometh to those who know themselves for what they are, rather than for what they seem to be to the smoke-blinded eyes of the world. Being freed from the bondage of desire and sense-passion, they master their thoughts by their wisdom, and their senses by their thoughts. Having mastered the body by the yogi teachings, so that the same is rendered a fit habitation for the soul, and keeping it well swept and in good order, under the eye of the mind, having senses, faculties, mind, and understanding well in control and in good condition, with the eye of the soul forever fixed upon freedom and attainment of peace, the sage casteth behind him the worn-out sheaths of desire, fear, passion, and lust, and passeth into the state of freedom and attainment. Knowing me for what I am, knowing that I rejoice in the mastery of self-control, knowing that I am the Lord of the universe and the true lover of all souls, the wise one findeth and knoweth me in my peace at the last. Thus endeth part 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, which part is called Renunciation. Pretty much says what the Bible says, just renounce everything of this world, like good, the bad, like everything, be indifferent to it all, and just know thy true self in God. It's Krishna speaking, and that's one of their main gods in that religious aspect. We're a little over that hour mark. Try to keep them below 2 hours so that it's not an overload, because it's a lot of information to take in. It's a lot of information to filter through, and even just reading it to you guys, I have to take it in and filter it. And don't mind the no eyebrows today. It was a no eyebrow today. You notice I didn't have them on this morning. I forgot to put them on, and then it got to be too late, and I just said, you know what? Why do I even need eyebrows today? So, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. This is the way. Peace be with you.